The Department of Foreign Affairs is putting arrangements in place with Aer Lingus to bring people home. It's 2:07.
News Talk Weather.
Thanks to the AA. Need to renew your AA car insurance? Go to the aa.ie/myAA.
It will get cold tonight, lowest overnight temperatures of 0 to 5 degrees with frost in the south of the country. Now you're up to date on News Talk.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
All right, you're very welcome along. It's Thursday's Off the Ball. Nathan with you till 10 o'clock this evening. Hope everybody is doing well. We have got a busy show ahead. Rhys McClenaghan would have gone to Tokyo this year as one of our main medal hopes. The young gymnast, though, is going to join us after 8 o'clock to talk to us about his hopes for 2021, as it is now going to be. Obviously, time very much on his side. We've got a crappy quiz coming up between 8 and 9 as well. And also a little bit of a Liverpool special. Don't know how it happened. John Giles, over the next few weeks, is going to give us his greatest ever 11s from a variety of different clubs. And he wanted to start with Liverpool, so we're going to do that from 7:30, from 1960, basically when John started playing against them, all the way up to modern times. You can send in your greatest ever Liverpool 11 to 53106. You can get us on Twitter at Off The Ball. I'm sure, no doubt, John will have a few controversial selections in there. And then from 9 to 10, we will bring you our classic game club, this time going back to 1988, April 1988, when Liverpool beat Nottingham Forest by 5-0, described by many, including Tom Finney at the time, as the greatest club performance they had ever seen. You wouldn't even see it bettered, not in Brazil. Was the quote from Tom Finney. So that coming up, and we'll chat to Ray Houghton during that football show as well. He played in that game, he scored in that game. So a lot coming away between now and then. Richie McCormack is with us as always. Good evening.
How are you, Nathaniel? You well?
And Joe Molloy, I think, is also with us.
Yeah, Jen's evening.
We can't see you, you're just in audio, you've decided today. What's going on in that house, Joe? Oh no, he's there. He's moved into a different room. How many rooms are in this Molloy mansion?
Well, at least 2 so far, I would think.
At least, Joe, we're seeing what's behind this week. Richie has gone for the old blurred out background, which I've got to say raises instant suspicions. What are you growing back there, Richie?
I can unblur it if you want.
I'm just wondering what's going on.
It's pretty much at the insistence of herself, because the bedroom, which is where I am, is a tip. So rather than seeing a variety of what's actually behind me here, like bags, bottles, shampoos, creams, a toothbrush, and Forky from Toy Story 4 is back there as well. So yeah, there's lots going on, but none of which I need to share with the viewing public tonight.
Have you seen Toy Story 4, Joe? Have you got Disney Plus?
Not yet.
Magical.
Have you gone through Disney Plus yet?
I haven't subscribed to Disney Plus yet. I'm considering it. I'm not watching as much television as I thought I would. So I'm kind of just holding off. And also, I find it a bloody nightmare to get children to watch old movies. So they've seen all the Toy Stories. I force them to sit down and watch E.T. And after about 20 minutes, they're like, nah, I'm just not having this.
They're fond of E.T. in this house, but I think this evening they were offered the chance of watching Lady and the Tramp. And one of them said, no, we're watching The Lion King, and that's it. So if you hear any kind of booming or the circle of life coming up through my feet, that is not, in fact, Elton John trying to make an apparition in front of us. It's just the lads downstairs watching The Lion King.
Great movie. The new version, Joe, you seen it?
I started it on an airplane and did not like the look of it, I have to say.
Wow. So how's your week been? I feel because like the initial lockdown from Leo Varadkar was on a Thursday, and then we're here every Thursday, the three of us, that we can just discuss. How's your week been, Joe?
Do you know, it's actually been okay this week. We for a show point of view, pretty stellar. Like, people are free and available. We had O'Gara and Stringer on last night. We had Simon Zebo on this week as well. So I think work under the circumstances, not so bad. I do find I'm not mastering the working from home part. We've discussed that. I'm just in no kind of rhythm whatsoever. But I think in the main, not bad, and far better than huge numbers of people. I was just looking at my Google Calendar thingy right before we came on air here and was trying to think, when was the Thursday? 4 or 5 weeks ago when Leo Varadkar made that announcement in Washington. 2 weeks ago today is when all of this really started. It's been an unbelievably memorable 14 days. So in the context of this maybe lasting for months, this first 14 days has not gone quickly.
I should mention we're going just before 8 o'clock. We're going to transfer across to the Dáil as well, just for a couple of minutes, because they're going to do this minute's applause for everybody working on the front line, and particularly all the healthcare professionals. So we'll bring you that, and I know a lot of people around the country are going to do it as well, and rightly so, I think we can all say. Like, I was coming out of the house this evening, and again, I haven't been out of the house properly. I haven't been out of our state in about 4 days, and I'm like basically suffering from some form of agoraphobia. The second I get in the car, I'm like freezing up, going, do I want to do? I don't know what the outside world holds. I don't know who's where, what's where. And then you do just think about those people who have to get up every single morning and go right into the front line, and you think, Jesus Christ, what am I worrying about?
Correct. It's incredible what they're going through. I was talking to a friend of a friend who's working on the front line, and the hours they're putting in are incredible. Even, you know, they go to work and wear a different set of clothes to the ones they're working in all day, and then they put those clothes they're working in back into a plastic bag and change again and go back home and put the clothes they wore at work into the wash, 60 degrees. Just a constant effort to not fall ill themselves. Just incredible. I mean, I don't have a balcony in the new house, you'll be pleased to hear, Nathan, but I'll be applauding wherever the applause needs to go.
Yeah, like I see there's a lot of concerts happening and things like that already being organised as a sort of thank you. Like already you're looking at this day and like there's no way people will ever be properly able to express their thanks for the thousands of people who are going out there day after day and doing their job. And as you say, like all these people, lots of them have children as well at home, have wives, have husbands who are like, we're stressed, everyone's stressed. But the level of stress that they're having to go through as well.
Incredible. Well, I tell you one thing, when they rightly go looking for a pay rise whenever this is all over, I think the whole country will absolutely insist that it happens, and rightly so. I think the days of us having to see nurses picketing should never happen again.
You hope so. This is one of these things, like, are there going to be learnings out of this in 6 months' time? Like, I can't imagine people are going to forget, but you'd certainly hope not. So
no, I wouldn't think so. It's going to be a fascinating time in that sense in the years ahead when we get through the initial horror of what's happening at the moment.
Richie, you want to come in?
Yeah, no, it's going to be, you would hope that they won't be the subject to the same kind of stringent financial measures that I'm sure a lot of people are going to be over the next couple of months and years, because as we heard in the news, this is going to leave its own scars in its own way, especially economically. But you would hope the money can be found to sort out the people who are looking after us most in this very, very trying time, as much for them as much for anybody else.
Lads, is the sound of the birds still chirping away at 7:10 not just glorious? Grand stretch in the evening, says Libby.
Grand stretch. That's I dived the blinds open for the first time here in Castle McCormack for the Newsround. So yeah, it's nice to have a bit of light. That's what I was saying to Joe here last night. The difference that the good weather has made over these last couple of days, like this marathon 2 weeks that it's been, would have felt like, I don't know, 3 years had the last week actually just been rainy. The fact that we've gotten a couple of sunny days, you can leave the back door open, you can leave the blinds open that little bit longer. I mean, it makes all the difference mentally as much as anything else.
Lads, could you ask people living in the countryside to beep their horns at 8 o'clock for the frontline staff, only if it's safe to do so? I don't know when it's not safe to hoot your horn. I suppose if you're going along a quiet country road and there's somebody out for a walk and you're just coming up behind them and you decide to randomly hoot their horn, maybe that's not ideal.
You could do, if drivers in the country could do what drivers in the country always do, which is give a uniform and a no, this is going somewhere nice. Give a uniform and a precision-timed single finger lift off the steering wheel.
Fair enough.
You know the one I'm talking about.
It's a classic.
Oh yeah,
it's a classic. Yeah.
Vic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. A guy I know used to flip the finger the other way around for everybody, just for the crack. Not very popular. All the Toy Story movies are for sadomasochists only. Every single one of them reduces me to a snotty mess, and I ask myself, why have I done this myself again? From Big Bad John.
And listen,
it's true.
They're an emotional roller coaster. I will say this about the fourth one: there's no reason for it to exist. The fourth one is cash in for cash in's sake, but as cash ins go, it's a good movie.
How about covering when Forest beat Liverpool over 2 legs to knock them out of the European Cup in the first round when Liverpool were champions of Europe, says Evan in Lucan, a Forest fan. We can do that. There's there's going to be plenty of weeks in this. There's going to be plenty of months in this. We can most definitely get to some good times for Nottingham Forest. The Classic Game Club is coming your way from 9 o'clock. Joe, the rugby man, can only remember the 2 rugby pieces we did.
Oh, well, do you know what we had last night? Kevin Kilbane, Kevin Doyle, and John O'Shea. Remembering it was meant to be the anniversary of the Ireland-Wales game in Croke Park 13 years ago this week. First game in Croke Park, 72,539 spectators, a record. And it kind of morphed into chatting about the Staunton era, actually, which was quite interesting. What really came across was just how much they felt unliked/hated by the general public. There was a real frustration with the team at that time. So that was an interesting chat in the football show last night.
Yeah, their manager didn't help them. I know they don't particularly want to overly criticise him, but there was a reason that people, I think, didn't like that team and didn't like just that entire period.
The criticism of the team, though, at that stage was more vicious than I think it's ever been. Even in the darkest days of Trapattoni and the 6-1s at home to Germany and all that, there was a venom behind the criticism of Staunton and that team that I don't think we've seen since those days.
Yeah,
I think
possibly
that's true. I think what didn't help their case was the emergence of rugby's golden generation. So that was a time where I absolutely remember very unfair comparisons. You know, you've Brian O'Driscoll doing great things, you've Munster winning Heineken Cups, you have Ireland winning Triple Crowns, and, you know, they're accessible, and you've got these overpaid prima donnas in the Premier League who don't really care about Ireland, or half of them even trying. They're losing to Cyprus 5-2. So, and it's funny, you know, the more we get to know that Ireland team, now they've all retired, a lot of them come into studio and do bits with us. They're all great fellas, cared about playing for Ireland massively, but that perception of the team was out there massively at the time. You know, there were even some of the headlines. Minnows 1, Muppets 2 after the San Marino game. The lads remembered last night.
Yeah, it's a shame really that period they were in Croke Park was such a disaster.
Yeah,
it should have been this magical spell. And aside from the 90 seconds of Sean St. Ledger's goal, it's hard to think of too many special moments that were there. The one game that always stands out is the home game against Cyprus. I think it's the only time my wife has ever gone to an Ireland game with me, and understandably so. And 1-0 down, closing stages, and you're like, it's the only time I think I've actually been at an Ireland match where you're almost willing them to lose, thinking, at least if they lose here, it's over. It's over and we can move on. Obviously, they get it. Was Steve Finnan, was it, who got a last-minute equaliser? But like the stadium was half empty. It was just like, this isn't what Irish football's about. It's all up on offtheball.com. It's well worth a listen back. Keep the text coming, 53106. Richie, where do you want to start?
Yeah, there's been renewed criticism of the decision to hold the European Olympic boxing qualifier in London last week. The event was suspended at the Copperbox Arena after just 3 days. Croatia have today confirmed that 2 coaches and 1 boxer have contracted coronavirus as a result of their attendance. It follows the news that 2 Turkish boxers and 1 coach contracted the virus there. The head of the Turkish Boxing Federation described the decision to hold the qualifier as irresponsible. Sticking with matters Olympic...
That is just worth... sorry to interrupt, Rich. That's just worth reminding people what happened there. So 6 people in total have tested positive from this event, which was, you know, to do with an Olympic Games that were never going to happen anyway. And it's just worth saying this started in London on the 14th of March with full crowds attending. We're talking here the week after Cheltenham. We're talking here after the Mikel Arteta positive test and the Premier League stopped all games. We're talking after the Six Nations pulled all of their games. This event happened in London after all of that. Now, the IOC have made the point, well, there were no governmental restrictions in place. And that, you know, falls firmly at the feet of Boris Johnson and whatever weird policy him and Dominic Cummings had cooked up between themselves and their scientific advisors at that stage. But still, that really reflects badly on the IOC.
It's like some sort of sick joke. We all knew watching this that it wasn't right and that something terrible could come out of it. And now to be one of the athletes who was there, again, looking at the governing body, whatever about what the government advice was, everybody knew. And people have to take responsibility. I'm sure they won't, but it's 6 so far. And as you say, it was packed houses to start with. Like the Countess boxers at this, I'm sure it's a hugely worrying time for them. It's just disgusting, really, that it went ahead in the first place.
Yeah, 13 Irish team members were over there. None of them so far, at least anyway, in touch wood, it'll stay that way, have come out and contracted coronavirus. Meanwhile, the IOC are believed to be working towards the July and August staging of the Olympic Games next year in Tokyo. The Games, as we know, postponed earlier this week, having been due to get underway on July 24th. IOC Coordination Commission Chair John Coates told Japanese media that they want to ideally sandwich the Games between Wimbledon and the US Open tennis Grand Slams. Coates says they want to finalise dates inside the next 4 weeks. The GA is targeting a return to play for mid-June. The coronavirus pandemic has led to all Gaelic games being suspended until April 30th at the earliest. It was confirmed today that the Connacht football quarter-final meeting of London and Roscommon has been cancelled. The Leinster and Munster hurling round robins may be scrapped to facilitate a straight knockout format, and no decision has been made just yet on potential completion of the leagues.
With the barbers being closed, every day I look in the mirror and I know a head shave is one day closer. I haven't seen the shape of my skull in 15 years. Are there rolls of fat hiding under there? Does your scalp get wrinkly? From Worried David. Richie?
Scalp doesn't get wrinkly. No, scalp doesn't get wrinkly. Scalp holds up rather well to the repeated and renewed shavings, pretty much weekly at this stage. So get used to it. I say welcome it. Bring it on. Don't let it grow out. Shave it all off. We can all go around as one, as an act of unity and of unison to all have our head shaved, Joe and Nathan.
Richie.
Joe?
Yes.
Oh, I'm too afraid it won't grow back. I'm going all the way here. We'll ride this out till the very end, Nathan. Who knows where we'll end up? It's going to be interesting. It's interesting there. So they're already conceding they might get rid of the round robin in the hurling. Is there any word on the Super 8s in the football?
I'd imagine they'd go by the wayside as well.
Yeah, I think that what they said was they would hope to be able to do the Super 8s, but that if it goes for straight knockout, that's what they'll do. It's hard to see how they get away. It'd be fascinating to see, like, what is a straight knockout? Is it 32, 34 counties thrown into a hat and whoever comes out and you get Dublin Kerry in the first round? Or is it some sort of a seeding system? Like, are the provincial championships somehow protected?
I think you could still do provincial, couldn't you, knockout?
Possibly, but I guess, again, it's the age-old problem of the provincials, that Leinster, you could do Connacht in 3 weeks, but Leinster takes 5-6 weeks.
Yeah.
So they have a bit of time, obviously, before they need to figure it out. 53106, the text number. What kind of spa services can I avail of Casa McCormack, Ireland's newest 5-star resort, I believe? Does the hot press double up as a sauna? From Howie.
The hot press double up as a sauna? Not quite, no. I need to get one of those sheds that the RTE crew seem to be all broadcasting from this week. They look good. But no, I can rustle you up a couple of decent curries. I've got a decent lasagna down pat here, you know. There's fresh bread has been baked today, despite the paucity of flour around Dublin. So it's all good here. Yeah, by all means, feel free to find somewhere on the floor to sleep, but I'll make you a decent meal.
All right. Just to let you know that myself and Joe and Richie could all be out of a job very soon because we have handed over the reins of Off the Ball, and you're going to hear it first tomorrow.
Jesus, Nathan, that was a bit real.
My name's Tommy and I'm 6 years old. And who's your favourite superhero?
My favourite superhero? I think I'd probably go old school and just go with, like, Superman, would I? Him. Do you know, I'm going to throw a little curveball though as well. Animated films, sort of superhero. Do love The Incredibles, Mr. Incredible. I know it's just strength, but what a barrel chest he's got going on. He never misses chest day.
I know another man who doesn't miss too many chest days either, Brian. So tomorrow on all our social channels and on the radio, it is the first OTB Kids Takeover featuring Brian O'Driscoll. The children of Ireland have sent in their questions this week and have asked the good ones, like, who is your favourite superhero? We always did wonder. Mr. Invincible. I'm not even sure if that's the correct. Is that a correct answer? Is he a superhero?
Mr. Incredible, did he mean?
Mr. Incredible?
Did he?
Oh, Mr. Invincible.
Is that what he said?
Mr. Invincible. Mr. Incredible, true.
Yeah.
Sorry, yes.
Yeah.
Is he a superhero?
I can't not hear Graham McDowell saying Batman because he gets all the girls right now.
That and a few cold beers. Go on, Richie, you know you want to. Make it feel like the good old days.
A couple of cold beers. That's so hard to choose from, Nathan. Just going to do the newsround from time to time. I'm in my bedroom. Go on, yeah.
We're short in time. I do just want to touch on John O'Leary.
Of course, yeah. Tributes paid to the Irish Open winner John O'Leary, who passed away today at the age of 70. The Dubliner became just the third ever Irish winner of the Irish Open when he triumphed at Portmarnock in 1982. He also represented Great Britain and Ireland in the 1975 Ryder Cup in the States. Sam Torrance lamented the passing of his dearest friend and roommate of 10 years, while Padraig Harrington says O'Leary was larger than life but a kind character. Paul McGinley's also paid tribute, and the Ministry for Sport has chimed in as well.
Yeah, one of the real godfathers of Irish golf, Joe, and obviously one of the first names everyone knows from Irish golf, because for 25 years it was who was the last Irish man to win the Irish Open. Everybody knew his name.
No, it's very true. It's very true. Passed away at the age of 70. I noticed in quite a few of the condolences, I suppose, offered from the likes of Harrington and Torrance and McGinley and others, a lot of them use the word kind, which is no bad thing to be said about you when you pass on. So, yeah, condolences to all.
Yeah, the news unfortunately broke just after we recorded Golf Weekly today, so that is up, but we will next week pay proper tribute to John O'Leary on Golf Weekly. I think we're pretty much done for time. Joe, thank you.
Cheers.
Richie,
good night, lads.
Mind yourself, lads. So coming
Cheers,
up after 8 o'clock, Rhys McClenaghan will join us to talk about the Olympics being put back a year, crappy quiz as well, Classic Game Club, Liverpool, Nottingham Forest from 9, and as I say, we'll go across to the Dáil as well just before 8 o'clock for that. Minutes applause that everybody should get involved in for everybody working on the front line during this crisis. But up next, we're going to talk to John Giles, who is going to talk us through his best ever Liverpool 11. That's next.
Off the Ball on News Talk.
Have a great evening with itsforwomen.ie. Great value car insurance on the web, on demand, on the go. Itsforwomen.ie. It's always on hand. It's always online.
For a limited time only, get Air's totally unlimited broadband for just $29.99 a month for 12 months. Sign up today and you'll also get Amazon Prime Video on us for a whole year. Watch thousands of popular movies, TV episodes, and award-winning Amazon originals. Plus, you'll get the free Air Sport Pack.